This is the Retirement Key Podcast with Abe Abish, founder of Abish Financial Services.
We see a lot of successful do-it-yourself investors, but there's a major difference between pedal to the metal, getting up that retirement mountain, and then descending down the mountain safely into retirement.
You've worked hard your whole life to earn and save. Now you need a plan to make that money work hard for you.
Hang in there, and the markets will come back, and we're in the same boat as you. Is not comforting for someone who is 58, 65, 72, and there have got to be better ways to do things, and there are.
Abe is here to help you unlock the keys to your retirement.
It's like you have hit the ground running in the spring season because every time I talk to you, you're just hustling off to someplace else, Abe. It's a very busy time of year for you.
Busy time of the year, and markets never sleep, you know.
That's the truth,
Wall Street never sleeps. So, and there's a lot going on in the financial world right now. So, a lot of activity, and we're meeting with tons of prospective clients who are considering working with us, and at the same time meeting with all of our existing clients for quarterly reviews and everything like that. So it's a busy time of year, and right now everyone's doing their taxes.
Yep.
So very busy time of year.
All of the news is just piling on. I mean, every time you turn around, there's some other unnerving headline that you're reading, and you're wondering to yourself, when's it going to come back and affect you financially if it hasn't already? I mean, we came off the crazy roller coaster markets of 2022. Before that, dealing with inflation rising. Now interest rates are going up, and then, of course, came the news about the failing banks, Abe. It's just one thing after the next, like dominoes.
You wonder what shoe's going to drop next,
No, I'm not wondering. I'm just over here trying to hope for the best and hope that nothing else goes wrong.
Yes.
We haven't seen any headlines about failing banks for a few days now, but some are saying, hang on, just wait. Fund manager Al Lord was on Fox Business talking about how higher interest rates are affecting commercial real estate. Here's what he said.
We have $270 billion of commercial real estate loans that are maturing this year. When you look at who made those loans, well, 80% of commercial real estate loans are made by the small and regional banks. And then of those regional banks, it's about 38% of their whole portfolio is real estate loans. So it's going to be a problem.
Failing banks, unemployment, empty buildings. Abe, I mean, I smell a rat, and I think that you can smell a recession. That's what it feels like, it's what it sounds like. So, okay, for one, how long do recessions usually last? And two, what kind of planning can be done to get through it?
Look, Heather, by definition, the first 2 quarters of 2022 were negative GDP. And by definition, you know, if you have 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP, gross domestic product, then you are officially in a recession. But what happens is the big guys keep on changing the rules to the game. And so if we're not in a recession, then it sure feels like we're going into one, right? So since World War II, the average recession in the United States has lasted around 10 months. But going back to the 1850s, the average recession grows a little bit longer, about 17 to 18 months. That's typically what I've always heard, about a year and a half.
Okay.
Currently, economists are predicting a 70% chance that the U.S. could suffer a recession within the next year. So there certainly isn't a lot of good news.
Yeah.
Like when you go out to CNBC and CNN Money and Bloomberg and all of these websites to see what's going on. And as you mentioned, commercial real estate could be the next big shoe to drop. And with interest rates going up, we could see a lot of default. And guess who holds the notes? And guess who's given out these commercial loans to most commercial real estate owners is local regional banks. Anyhow, we can speculate all we want, right? And there's a lot going on, but we always try to focus in on what we can control on this show. And that's so important if you're between the ages of 55 to 75. If you're in your late 50s, 60s, late 60s, early 70s, you're approaching retirement, you're already retired. There's so much noise in the financial world, so much that you can't control. But what you really want to focus in on is your own financial and retirement plan. And so you can control the risk you're taking on your investments. You can control when you pay taxes, whether you pay them now or later or some hybrid in between model. And you can control when you take Social Security and how you handle RMDs and what you do with healthcare and how you plan for legacy and all these things. And that's what we want to focus on. So we just had a couple call into the show and then actually just become clients as well, Heather. They're from the Frederick, Maryland area. And we have a lot of clients coming in from that part of Maryland, Frederick and Hagerstown and Point of Rocks and Mount Airy and different areas out there in Maryland. And so they came in because they are retiring within 36 months. They're 65 years old at the goal line of their career, just about to finish their career and transition into their golden years. And they have $1.2 million saved. And they're a 5 on our risk scale. So middle of the road investors. Okay. And they came in with all the concern of what's going on. And they're saying, well, we've got 1.2 million, but we had 1.4, 1.5 million at the beginning of 2022. And we don't want this to go down to 1 million or 900. And we got 3 years left, and the near-term prospects in the market and everything just don't look great. What can you do to help us transition as successfully as possible? Right. What can we do outside of our TSPs or government employees, outside of the TSPs and other dollars that they have to put a moat around their life savings, to start thinking about protecting and preserving their hard-earned life savings? I mean, after all, this has taken them like 40 years.
Yeah.
40 years to get here. I mean, they started working in their early 20s. They're 65 now. 40 years. Just think about that. All the time that you have put into your career, into saving, and now you're here, and certainly you don't want to mess this up, and certainly you don't want to have things that are out of your control mess this up, like higher tax rates and just tons of market volatility and all this government intervention when it comes to quantitative easing and lowering of rates and stimulus, all this stuff that's really hurt us, that's really hurt tons of middle Americans. So that's why they came in. And a couple of big problems that they had was, number one, they didn't have a plan. And I told them that, 9 out of 10 people that walk through the doors behind them that they walked in don't have a plan. They have a phase 1 plan.
Right.
They have a plan to max out their TSPs and IRAs and other savings accounts, but no plan to generate income, no plan to reduce risk, no plan to transition into phase 2 successfully. They also had almost all of their monies in the TSPs, which were pre-taxed. So they bought into that myth that when they retire, they're going to be in a lower tax bracket. They're concerned with taxes going up. So the solution for them, Heather, and everyone listening right now, is first off to create a plan, a roadmap, right? An income plan. If we're transitioning into full retirement and our working paychecks are going to stop, the first thing we need to make sure of is that our income in retirement exceeds our expenses. This is basic math, right? Yeah. So the first thing we did for them was put together an income plan and roadmap to show them that their income did exceed their expenses because of their government pensions and Social Security checks, which took tremendous pressure off of their portfolio, and that was a good thing. But from there, with the 1.2 million, as a 5 on our scale of 1 to 10 in terms of risk, we want to split those dollars right down the middle between long-term growth and income and safety. So we did that for them. And then finally, we came up with a plan to look at over the next few years, how can we get as much of these dollars out of the TSPs and traditional IRAs into Roth IRAs, where we can pay some of our fair tax share now over the next few years before taxes potentially go up.
Abe, there are a lot of amazing, brilliant people in the financial world with a lot of great insight and advice to offer. And there are a lot of people on TV and radio that offer help with retirement planning. But the question for you is, what makes your practice unique? You talk all the time about entering the second phase of your financial life and the disconnect that you see so often happen in the industry. So what are the advantages to sitting down with you and Patton and the folks at Abish Financial Services?
Two big things come to mind, Heather. So number one, in terms of the planning, as you just mentioned, over 90% of our industry, over 90% of the financial planning and retirement planning industry focuses on phase 1. What is phase 1? Pure growth, pure accumulation, pure investments, right? You're needing to get to retirement.
Right.
You're needing to save enough to actually retire. So our clients are then coming into us, Heather, and they're saying, well, wait a minute. I believe I do have enough money now saved. I have 1.5 million. I have 1 million. I have 3 million. I have 5 million. A couple we just met with here in Great Falls has 6 million, which I'll tell you about here in a second. 6 million. Do you really need the help of a major big box investment firm long term if you have 6 million? You could argue that you do. You could argue that you do need that continued investment guidance throughout your lifetime. Sure. But just as much, you now need a phase 2 retirement income focused plan because you have enough assets, because you have enough saved to retire. Now you need a plan to help you transition. So while the majority of our industry focuses on that growth, our clients come to us realize, Abe and the team, I've done a good enough job of saving. Help me get through retirement now. Not just 2. I'm at the point of retirement. Help me get through retirement successfully. That's that next 30 years. That's from age 60 to 90, from 65 to 95, right? That last third of your life. Well, that's a much different, or should be a very different plan than when you were 30, 40, and 50, where it was pure pedal to the metal, pure investment focus, taking on all the risk in the world to get there. Now you're here. You're 65, 58, 72. You have enough money saved, and the focus should be income generation, protection of my assets, preservation of my assets, and a reduction of risk everywhere where we want to take on smart risk, but not any extra risk than necessary to have a successful, comfortable retirement of our dreams. And so that's how we're different. We're a phase 2 firm that will typically only work with people 55 to 75. And so this couple I just mentioned in Great Falls, $6 million, they're 70 years old with $6 million, and they have all their money at a major big box firm, and they're realizing we don't need to have all of our money at this big box firm. We also want to split it up. They're going to move, or planning on moving about half to us and keeping half at the other big box firm, because we do the opposite of what the big box firm and investment firm does. So they realized that, and they realized they needed a different plan, a different type of plan for this next season of their lives. That's how we're different. In addition, we are a family firm. We're not some big national firm where you're just one of millions of clients and probably not going to get the love, care, and attention that you would get with a local family firm that really cares. So those are the big ways I believe we're different. If you're listening right now and you don't have that phase 2 income-focused generated plan set up, and you're also working with maybe a big box firm and you just don't feel you're getting the love, care, and attention you need and deserve, go to retirementkeyradio.com, click on the Contact Us tab at the top of the page, and we can begin to have these same conversations with you as well.
Thanks for listening to the Retirement Key Podcast with Abe Abish. To learn more about Abish Financial Services, visit retirementkeyradio.com and join Abe for his radio show, The Retirement Key, Saturdays at 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 2 p.m. on WMAL.
Investment advisory services offered through Abish Financial Wealth Management, LLC, number 310633, a registered investment advisor firm. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Abraham Abish is licensed in your state, please call 571-577-9968. Abish Financial Services is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Abish Financial Services, Inc., Virginia Insurance License number 127820.